Today we are going to learn about the unit syllable. So the unit syllable is the one that some people say that it's different things, and so I believe that there are 7 units. Some people believe that there are 6. So obviously we have there's differences in grammarians. So we are going to focus on the TION and the SION first. So TION says its very own sound, shun. And SION says shun also, but it also says jun depending on what's in front of it. But let's go over the TION. Station, ablution, incubation, revalorization. See how it all says shun. So now I also want you to look at this word right here, incu. See how right there, many children want to spell that with a QU, which would be wrong. Okay, so they just need, just a reminder there, how you would spell Q. K-U, C-U. Okay, now let's go over to the SION, and this says shun. Okay, so let's look at this again. We have our T-I-O-N, okay? Now, this is a digraph. 2 letters that make a sound, okay? And this turns to schwa. Gosh, this pen is not working very well. So, shun. See, closed O's turn to schwa when they're unaccented. Same with the SION. All right? So, this says sh, the digraph, and then this turns to schwa. So that's how that's the reason why it says shun. Okay? So, but the SION will say zh, depending on if there is a vowel or a consonant that comes in front of it. So let's go over this. Seclusion, conclusion, reclusion, vision, illusion, ascension. Now, did you hear what happened just now? So it says shun because that is a consonant. So all of these other ones, see how it said jun? It's because these had vowels right before it. So now let's look at this word. This says disillusion. And I'm going to show you how to break apart this word, okay? Now, in the last lesson, I showed you how you would find your vowels. But very first off with this word, you can see that this has a prefix in front of it. Now, a prefix is its very own syllable. So you're not going to break it apart. So we're not going to go, oh, there's our vowels, oh, one in the middle and bring it over. No, because dis means not. Okay? So we're gonna start with dis because that is a prefix. And now we can find our vowels. See, there's two letters, so just break them apart. I-L, bring the L down, and you know that U is going to go with that sound, right? So, and then this right here, it's a unit syllable. Look, it's making its very own sound, and so it is its very own. And not only that, here you can hear that says U, so it needs to be open. And so you have jun. Okay? So now this says revalorization. Let's break that word apart. Now we have our prefix. Well, that means again. Now we'll start with that. Okay, re. Now let's find our vowels. There's one in the middle, so it needs to go to the end. So we have V-A, and so the L-O. Now let's find our other vowel, R-I. Now you'll obviously only do this if you're struggling reading the word, okay? And then you have Z, whoops, let's find our vowel. Then this goes to the end, so we have Z, A, and then you have T-I-O-N. So, anyways, so now let's read it. Re-va-lo-rization. So that doesn't even sound right. So when you're going, ooh, that doesn't quite sound right, you go, well, that could be, let's see if it sounds better if this is over here, because you know this is going to say shun, right? So let's go V-A-L, then we can go O. Let's see if that works. Revalorization. Or right here, the reason why this says I is because this is a unit sound, eyes, and it's not changing in this word with the short vowel in the middle. And so eyes says eyes. Normally when you break that apart, a word like that, this will say I. So it's going to say, we're going to break it apart and we're going to say revalorization. Now this is the accented syllable. So look at this word. We have revision. So let's erase all of this. So we have, look, our prefix, whoops, R-E. And now let's find our, oh, you have your unit sound. So we know V-I is in the middle and you have S-I-O-N. So you know that's going to be, so revision. See how that works? Now, look. With this one, look, you can find your unit sound, so you can just cross that off. But this right here, gress, is a Latin root right there. And see how this says shun? And this is going to be open. So we have, we're going to find our vowels. Look at that. Oh, there's two in the middle, but look at this one. This is an R. So it's keeping these two together because R's and L's stay together most of the time. So we're going to break your E. It's all by itself. Your G and the R, we're going to go with this G-R-E-S because see, look, S-I-O-N is by itself. So this right here is all by itself. So we're going to go G-R-E-S. And then we have S-I-O-N. Regression. So you can't hear this right here. Regression. Okay? You can't hear that S because it's following right. We don't say regression. That just, it's silent. Okay, so now let's go over to this unit, these units over here. Ing, ong, ang, ung, and then we have some examples, bring and ling. Okay? Ink, onk, unk, ank. Think and think. So see how these are very similar? They say the E sound. These are super important that they are memorized. You will find these in many, many words, and especially the ing, it's a suffix. And so this is going to be sitting in participles. They're going to help you understand your progressive tenses. And so you need to know this one. You need to know all of them, but this ing is super important. So we have ing and ink, ong and onk, ang and ank, ung and unk. Now, in a lot of words, you'll find like, look at this, what happens when you add an E on. Still unit, but you say ange, like change, okay? So that happens also. So now we have lots of words that have these units in them. Let's read them. Chunk, yang, dunk, ankle, honk, bank, dunk, lung, sting, spank, bank, most, dunk, bong, sting, thing, junk, bank. So those are words. I know I repeated some, but they're just kind of fun to say. So they're easy to memorize. So let's look at these. Bring, thing, ling. I brought these out because it's super important that you are understanding the ing, okay? The ing, I talked about that. These are important. These aren't just unit sounds. These are units in here, but they're super important for you to understand. Your participles and your progressive tenses. Yang, look at this word. Now ing normally sits in the past tense, and like sing, sang. Okay, so it's in the Chinese culture, and I have often, I've heard of it, for a long time, and you see it in movies, but ing, it sits in the past tense. Now this is associated with, the male is associated with the universe, and he is creator of the universe, and he is related and associated with heaven and light. That's what yang is associated with. So obviously my mind goes straight to Jesus, and he is obviously a male. He's passed on. He's already gone home, and he is the ultimate creator of the universe, of our earth, and he does such a beautiful job. So, and he represents heaven and light. So he brings us joy when we follow him. He gives us things when we follow him. Now ling is a fish or fishes. This could be plural or singular. And so he is known as the fisher of men. And so the fisher of men that brings each one of us heaven and light. So let's go over here. We have lost and glost. So look, this OST is not saying its unit sound, but this one is. So this one right here is not a unit. This one is a closed syllable, okay? Okay, so now we are going to focus on the unit sound for ate and it. ATE says ate or it. And adequate, hesitate, speculate, interrogate, celebrate, reinstate, and delegate. Okay, now look at this, chocolate. Now let's go ahead and decode this word. So if you can hear a short vowel, that will help you decode. So we are going to go, we have our vowels, see that? So we're going to go C, H, O. Now, if you can hear that this is saying its short sound, ah, then put your C right there. You don't have to do the other thing. If that's short right here and you're just trying to decode this, move your C to this direction. There's only one, and then you can put your next vowel here. Now, okay, now this will often grab your consonant that's sitting here. It won't grab a vowel, but it will grab a consonant. So we know that that's going to say L-A-T-E. Chocolate. See? It. Chocolate. Chocolate. Now, let's look at this word. Intimate. Let's find our vowels right here and here. And there's two in the middle. So we're going to break it down the middle. In. And now we have, well, I shouldn't have done that. This will be its very own unit sound always, but this ATE won't always be that. It will typically grab this consonant right here. So we have our vowels, we're going to break it and go right here and then write M-A-T-E. Intimate. Okay, does that make sense? Now let's look at, let's let's erase this. So we have more room. Now look at this. Let's find our vowels. Okay, there's 2 in the middle, but look what happens here. You have an L. See, R's and L's, they will typically grab this letter. So this P should stay with this L. And we have, so that means this DU goes together, that's a D. Okay, and the PL goes with the I. PLI. Okay, and then see how this is a consonant and it's going to stay right here. C-A-T-E. Duplicate. Duplicate. All right? Now, often you will find words that will say duplicate or duplicate. Both will be correct. Sometimes, though, you will have it when they do have different meanings. Okay, let's look at this word. Let's find our vowels. And there's 1 in the middle, but look. You might not know how to do this one. This one I showed you because a lot of people know how to do chocolate. So, but you might not know this one. So let's, and the VI, and then TATE, because this goes together because it's a consonant. So this would say gravitate. Well, it doesn't sound right. So move it over here and make it short, grav. Now it will say it's short sound. Okay, this is the accented syllable. Had we not moved that over, it could have said gravitate. Either way, it doesn't sound right. Move this over and it says gravitate. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, so now we are going to just read these words and then we're going to break them apart and decode them. Activate, correlate, appellate, evaporate, accurate. Okay, so now I want to point out all of these. But first off, I'm going to just underline all of your Latin roots in here. Act, rel, pel, cur, and I'm not sure about that one, but we have solid Latin roots in these words. So let's start with activate. Now, just because you find your Latin root doesn't mean they won't break apart. Like the act is a Latin root. So let's find our vowels right here, and we have 2 in the middle. So we're going to go A, C. Whoops, can't see that very well. A, C. Actually, that's not the pen that I want. A, C. And then look. Now we know the ATE is going to stay together always, the ATC, and most likely you're going to grab this vowel. So we're going to just go T-I and then V-A-T-E. The time when you would be worried is if that was a vowel and an R, if that's going to grab it over or not. And so we have activate, short sounds, short I's. In the middle, say it's short sound. I mean, open eyes in the middle, say it's short sound. Now let's look at this. Now this is a chameleon prefix, and we have C-O-R. Okay, and you'll learn those and hopefully memorize them. Now look at this. This is your consonant, and so we know that this is going to probably stay together because it's not an R. So we're going to go re, and then L-A-T-E. So it kind of breaks up a little bit differently than what I showed you in the last lesson. Correlate, correlate. And see here, you can hear both of these R's because it hits right here. Okay, correlate. Now, let's go ahead and do appellate right here. Now look, this is super easy to find. Right off the bat, you have 2 P's here, and 2 L's here. So let's just break them. Appellate, okay? And so it's easy. That one's super easy. When you have doubles, they're just really easy. Now let's look at evaporate, okay? So now look, we have our 2 vowels, and we're going to write E. The V goes with this. with this A. And so now look, but we have a vowel and an R right here, a vowel R. Okay, because you can see that, and if you're trying to figure out the word, you might not see it, but this says vapor. But we're going to go P-O-R and then A-T-E. So when you have an R right here, that's when you need to be careful on how you're breaking it. Evaporate, but that doesn't sound right. Even though vapor, if it was by itself, these accents will change when you add on unit sounds or suffixes, and oftentimes the ATE will act as a suffix, and this was probably one of those words that's acting as a suffix. So let's get rid of this P over here and just put it here. Evaporate. All right, so now let's go to this next word, accurate. See, double C. You know it's just going to break down in the double C. So we're going to go A, C, and then C. And now look, you have a vowel R here. And so we're going to keep those together. And then A-T-E. Accurate. All right? So now let's look at right here. I want you to make sure that ATE can be a suffix sometimes, or most of the time it's just a unit syllable added on to a word. Okay, and it will be its very own. They stay together. They will pull words apart, but the next letter, but they will stay together. Okay, but I also want to go over here and remind you about the CU right here, Q. All right. So when you hear Q, you spell it C-U. All right, now let's look at this. Let's read the words first. Cultivate, rejuvenate, over elaborate. So reconcentrate. Now let's go ahead and break these words apart. Okay, so here's your vowels. And look, there's one in the minutes, two in the middle. So we go C, C-U-L. Okay, and you know this T-I goes here. Now that's a consonant, so we're gonna just go V-A-T-E. Cultivate. Now, let's do reconcentrate. Okay, so you don't know how to read the word, you're trying to figure it out. So look at that, you have a prefix. Oh wow, you have another prefix. You have a Latin root right there. Okay, so we know R-E is going to stay in its prefix. We know C-O-N is going to stay in its prefix. Now, but when your Latin root is there, it can break apart into different syllables. So let's find our vowels. We know the A-T-E is going to kick with this one, but look, we have 3 in the middle right here. So when you have 3 in the middle, you want one to go this direction and one to go this direction, and often it will be a TR. TRs typically, they're a 2-letter blend, they stay together. So we're going to put C-E-N and then the T-R-A-T-E, okay? Reconcentrate. Open, closed, closed, vowel team. I mean unit syllable. I didn't mean to say vowel team. All right, now let's do ultimate right here. Let's break it apart. We have our vowels right here. We have split it down the middle. Ul. Now we know that TI is going to go here. Now this is a consonant, so it's going to stick right here together. M-A-T-E. Okay. Ultimate. That's how you'd break that word apart. See how it could be a little bit different. It won't always be the same. You just have to play with your words. Now let's look at rejuvenate. Okay, you have a prefix right here, so we're going to just write re. Okay, now let's find our vowels. Boom, boom. One's in the middle, so we're going to go J-U, and the V goes with the E. Now, look, you have your ATE, so, and there's a consonant, so put them together. N-A-T-E. Rejuvenate. Look, open, 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 unit sound, okay? Rejuvenate. Rejuvenate. Open E's in the middle of words, say it short sound. Now let's look at over elaborate. Now over is a prefix, but it's a two-syllable word, so we can break it apart. O, it's open. You make, and here's your V, it comes over here, okay? Now, look at that. E, there's one in the middle, let's break it. And then we're gonna bring L, A, and then look at this, we have our vowel R. So with this one, we need to keep those together, we've learned. See, we have B, O, R, and then we have A, T, E. Okay, so now let's read this word. We have over, E, laborate. That doesn't sound right. So let's get rid of this B. And we have over elaborate. So over elaborate. So carbonate. So we have our vowels. This is a vowel R, so they need to stay together. And we have carbon, or carbon dioxide, a carbonate, carbonation. So I would break it like that, okay? Now look at these words right here. Skate, if you have a ATE unit sound here, this is a one-syllable word. This is not a unit syllable. This is a silent E syllable. Skate, silent E, bait, plate, silent E, rate, silent E, ovate. This one's a silent E, orate, and this one is a silent E syllable. Okay, so now we are moving into our ITE unit syllable that says it or ite at the end of a multi-syllable word. We have cellulite, kimberlite, anti-satellite. So you have lots of ites in the light area. Hypocrite. See how it switched to it? Quartzite. Now this says laborite. Now I broke it apart for you right here where you would typically, if you didn't know the word, you go laborite, laborite. And that if that's like, that doesn't sound right, you would switch the B. Laborite. Now, often labor is your base word, and this would be a suffix. Often when you add the suffix on, it switches the accent right here. Now this is really fun. Sodomite. So ITE in this word means a person who lives in Sodom, like Sodom and Gomorrah in the Bible. So listen, socialite. This is a person who is social. So in these ones right here, this would be a suffix. Now you have your silent E syllables right here. This is not a unit syllable. Kite, white. Now this is also a silent E syllable, and it says elite, but this does not come from our language. It's saying the E sound. Now we have IVE that says IV, most of the time at the end of a multi-syllable word, or it does say I've. Inclusive, extractive, perceive. Oh, did you hear that? Eve. Now, this is not a unit syllable. This is a vowel team syllable right here. And then sieve right there. Fugitive, elative. So this is kind of fun where you hear, there is your accent right here in the A, elative, because this will snag this, and then this, most of the time, your accent in a three-syllable word will be one or these two, okay? So now this one right here, donative, or it could say donative. I've heard both ways. Revive, dative. Now listen to this. We're gonna break this apart. We're gonna find our vowels right here, boom. We're gonna find our vowels, boom, boom. And we have one in the middle. So we're gonna go D, O, and look, we have your IVE. It's gonna grab your T. So you know this T is gonna be with here. It will not do that with a vowel. It will only do it with a consonant. So we know that we have NA with that one, and the T goes with the TIVE. So that will help you donative, okay? So same thing with this one. You have your IVE, it's gonna grab that consonant. So these ones are super easy to break. For one, it's only a 2-syllable word, but this snags it over here and it goes revive. See how easy that is to break it? This is an open syllable, and this is your unit. Now this one's the same thing. This is going to grab your T. So this is going to, we don't even need to find the vowels for something like that. And then TIVE. See how that works? Dative, open syllable. This is the accent, and it says day. Most of the time you will see in the accent 1, 2, unless you can identify a Latin root, most of the time your accent will be here, okay? So this one is tricky. Now this is where your accents change a little bit. This says abortive, but this one says ablative. The accent is here. So you have 1, 2, 3, but the accent's here on this one. That's why this says because it open A say But look at this one. This one would say ablative because this is the accented syllable. Okay? Now let's look at this one. Emotive. And we have survive. Okay? Sur and vive. Now look at emotive. Look how easy that is to break. It's going to break. You just grab your T, you're going to break it over, and look, 1 in the middle, so you know it's going to go to the end. So you're going to go E, M, O, and then the TIVE. Emotive. Sorry, it's kind of hard to write when it's smaller, like this, when it comes down. So now, IVE in a 1-syllable word is not a unit syllable. It's a silent E. Kive, five, hive, drive. Now we're going to go to the unit syllable is. So it says its special sound, is. Office, prejudice. So now look at this. This is where it's very own syllable, splice. So it will say this is a silent E syllable. Drice, lice. This is kind of a fun word. This is dry ice. It's frozen carbon dioxide. And so, but I think it's kind of funny how they call it drice, dry ice. Okay, so let's break apart prejudice. So we have our 2 vowels. See that? So we're going to go P-R-E. 1 is in the middle, so we're going to go J-U. And then look, we have our consonant, so it's just going to snag it. So we know it's going to be a D-I-C-E. So now let's read it. Prejudice, okay? But that doesn't make sense. So if it doesn't make sense and you're trying to figure out a word, move it over. Prejudice. And now you can just hear it, prejudice. Okay, so now look at this word, bride price. This is a compound word, and so we're just going to break it down the middle. So see how right here, this is a silent E syllable because you have 2 separate words together. So we're going to go bride and price. 2 separate words. This is a silent E syllable. Is, A-C-E, says is at the end of multi-syllable words. So we have stone face and every place. These are not, these are compound words that say its own individual words that come together and make one word. Every place. See, so these are silent E syllables right here. So this would be face. But look at this one, surface. We don't say surface. So this can be kind of tricky. Well, that one says face, but this one doesn't say face. But if you look at the first syllable, this isn't its very own word. It doesn't mean something different. So this says sur. So you know that this will say is, surface. So now, same thing here, ACE, if it is its very own, if it's a silent E and it's its own syllable, one syllable, it says it, ace, space, ace, pace, place. Now, palace, menace. Let's break these words apart. So we have, we know that this ACE is going to grab that consonant, right? So it's going to break super easy. Okay, so now look at this. Now let's read it. Payless. That doesn't sound right. So just switch it. Palace. Okay? So now let's do it with this one. Same thing. We're going to snag that. We know that. So it's going to break super easy. So you can just hurry and get it. MENACE. Meanness. That doesn't sound right. So it won't, you just move it over if you're trying to figure out your word. Okay, so now we're going to move over to AGE, which at the end of a multi-syllable word, it says idge. So when you hear idge at the end of a multi-syllable word, you spell it AGE, okay? So now, language. Now this is kind of a fun word. This isn't obviously in our language because you hear gw right here. And this would be one of the few times that I would say you would break a unit sound. See, look, you have a unit sound in here, but you also have a digraph. And so I would break it right in here. And you would go language, because that U in this one is not considered a vowel, okay? Now look, commonage. And cage. See what happened here? This is a prefix. Right here is a silent E syllable. So it's not saying that sound. When it is a one syllable word or the accented syllable, it says idge, phage, wage, sage, rage, page. These are silent E syllables right here. Back to mileage. See how it's open? Now we're going to go into the unit sound in. It will say in, een, ein. So at the end of a multi-syllable word. So we have musculin. Musculin. But look what happened here. Many children want to spell it Q-U. M-U-S-Q-U-L-I-N-E. But Q-U is a digraph. So see here, musculin. Now right here's a really fun word. This you can identify right off the bat that this is a Greek word because right here is a Greek combining form, and iso means equal. And if you've really studied your math, you'll see that in your math. Now let's read it. Isolu. Remember, EU says oo or EU, whatever. Just go with the flow, however it wants to roll off of your tongue. And look, this says seen. So when the I and E says een, we know it's not an English word. We know, look, it's Greek right off the bat. So right here it's going to say een. Isoleucine. Isoleucine. Okay? Now, superheroine. We're going to break this word apart. Now, hero is your base word in here. Because see, look, this is a compound word. And we have hero, which means a man, typically, not always, because I could be called a hero, but a heroine is typically a woman, and a hero is a man. So we have super. So if you find your compound word, just break it apart. You just break super apart. S-U, and you have one in the middle, and so you're going to go P-E-R. Okay? So now heroine. Hero, see how hero breaks differently? He and then ro. But now the accent had changed when you added on your vowel suffix right here. So we have, here's your vowels. Hair. And then, see this ER is following over here. And then we have O. And then your unit stays together. Heroine. Now look at this one, shoreline. This is a compound word, two words put together to make one word. This is not a unit sound. It's a silent E syllable. Histamine. This right here is not in our language, so that's why it's saying "een," but it's a unit sound. Alkaline. Chlorine. Look at this. Chlor, that tells you this is Greek. If you see a CHL, you have a Greek word right there. CH will say k in the Greek language. And then look, this says een. So if you know that this is Greek, right here, boom, it's going to say chlorine. Now, so let's break it. And it will break right here. Because this, remember, if you have an R here, when you have these unit syllables, most likely it's going to break right in here. Okay? So, doctrine, neckline, not, this is a compound word, so this is a silent E syllable. Saltine, this is a unit syllable, but it's acting as a suffix and it's going on to salt. So, look, wine. This is an accented one syllable word, so it's a silent E syllable. Now we're going to go to right here. This says Ika. So, or it could say Ika, hepatica. That's what this says, hepatica. But this one says paprika. So how that one says E and that one says I. But look at this one. This is saying pika. So this I is saying E, but it's not coming from our language, but this is not part of this unit sound. Okay, so now, I know we've already discussed your unit sound ATE that says it or ate, but we're gonna go through it again because I think it's important. So certificate, demonstrate, see how they're different sounds. So that can really cause problems with spelling. And so not right here, obviously, that's pretty easy to spell, but the ITE and the ATE, confusables. And so if you haven't memorized the word, you need to really look those up when it says that. Now, let's look at this one, investigate. Now this looks like it would be a silent E syllable, but because it's on a big word like this, it's a unit sound. Contemplate, same with this one. This looks like plate would be a silent E syllable, but it's not because it's on one big word. Now this word's kind of fun because look at this. C-O-N is saying con. So this is the accented syllable because typically C-O-N is a prefix, a chameleon prefix. So anyways, kind of a fun little thing where that most of the time you don't see that. Now look at this one, vertebrae, or it could say vertebrate. So I've heard it both ways, and so but it's an ATE, so it's like your backbone. Circulate. Oh, we have the Q sound there, but we don't spell the Q sound with a QU, we spell it with a CU. Also, substrate. This right here, though, is not a unit syllable. This is a silent E syllable because this right here is a prefix, and so you would add it onto the base word. Okay, so look at this, all. Troll, like all, I was gonna say all, but it is not all. This is all. It says all, troll, roll, pole, bowl. So you just need to remember that's the long O sound. Now this says ah, like all, stall, and call. So I'm going to teach you a spelling rule, And it is, if you have one vowel and it ends in an F, L, S, or a Z, you want to double the last letters. It will only be on the end. Okay, so now let's say like is. That S on the end says the Z sound, as. See right there? It says the Z sound. So look what happens. If you put a double S right here, it says is, like hiss. Or this says ass, as in like a donkey. But look at this all right here. But if all is kind of tricky, you hear all in the middle of words all of the time, and it will say AL. Sometimes you get OL, but often it's an AL, and it's at the beginning and the middle of words. So, but look at this. A lot of people might say that this is a compound word, but I would not say this is a compound word because this is how I spell all when it's all by itself. Okay? So the same with this one. This, for me, is not a compound word, always. But look at this, specialized. This is not the all sound. It says ol. And it's at the end of a word, special. So AL at the end of a word says ol, okay? And it also is suffix. In this word, it's not a suffix, but in lots of words they are. But look, this one breaks apart, alert, alert, alert. And this it says halt. So you just need to know that that can have different sounds. So this says eyes, mayonnaise. So in this word right here, the ISE is not a unit sound. So we have, this is a vowel team, right there, AI. And this all goes together, nays. So right here, this SE, if it's just there to say Z. It's giving the Z sound. Now, if we just did an S right there, it would be, if you put an S on the end, it means plural. So that would mean more than one mayonnaise, okay? So that doesn't really count for like these words. It doesn't really count for like simple little words like that. But big words like this, it means plural. So circumcise, see it's saying eyes. This says device, or it says devise. So it's spelled the exact same way, and it is saying two different sounds meaning two different things. Now this word, erased, this says buys and wise. And when it's one syllable words, most of the time it will say eyes. Sympathize. So now when do we spell it with an ISE or an IZE? So let me teach you a spelling trick. If we take the I's off of this one, this isn't you can't even really say that. It's not a base word. This is the whole word. So you spell it with an ISE. But look, what if we take the IZE off of sympathy? Then you see right here, we had dropped the Y and adding on your IZE. So we have sympathize. So now you drop the Y when you're adding an IZE, an IC, or an IST, and sometimes able, ABLE. But most of the time it's just these three. So that's when you know when to add, when to spell it with an I's, because this I's is a suffix and this one's not. Unless sometimes it's not in the English language, you'll have some of that. Now let's go to olt. We have deadbolt. See, compound word, you guys. It's two words put together. Pre-molt, this is not a compound word. See how that's a prefix? And then there's your word. Dolt, volt. So we have oast. This sound is oast. These all should be memorized. So they will be in hundreds and hundreds of words. So we have hither, most, top, most. These are compound words. See how you're spelling top and most. Impost. This is not a compound word. This is a prefix. So now I put most up here a lot because I want you to remember that E-S-T, see, hithermost. It's the most. S-T is the same. Okay, we're just remembering that it's est means the most. Okay, now we have old. It goes with bold, one fold, compound word, look at that. One and fold. They're spelled the exact same way as you spell them if they were a single word. A hold, told, and mold. Anyways, that is it for this lesson. I hope you really enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next one.